Hello fellow Tiger Space Bandit here with another episode of World of Tanks, and today we are in a tier 10 American medium tank T95E6, the reward tank for the Valor op that we just completed. And I finally completed the op, so here we are in this tank. You already saw Kampfpanzer that I showed you earlier on my channel, and today the time has come for T95E6. And one thing I gotta tell you, boys and girls, Wargaming gave us such a freaking treat with those tanks. I don't really know what to say. These tanks are absolutely spectacular, especially this one. Even though I do like the German tier 9, I think I prefer this one. I don't know why. Is it my game style? I don't know. Or is it the fact that this tank is really freaking killer tank? And what stands out on this tank really is a huge alpha. You're talking about 400 alpha. And it reloads below 7 seconds. Well, my reload is below 7 seconds. The actual, as advertised, is 8.3. But with gun rammer and, good crew, you can bring it down close to almost 6 seconds, especially if you throw in combat ratios on top of everything. Cola, right? You could get this tank to reload just a little bit over 6 seconds. Now, imagine 400 alpha every 6 or 6.5 seconds, right? It's ridiculous. How quickly can you rack up the damage when you put this tank in the right situation? Now, shell velocity is not the best because the main shells on this tank, or standard shells, are AP shells and premium shells are heat. So I'm not necessarily fond of the shell selection, to be honest. I would prefer maybe AP, APCR, so on and so forth. But because the gun is somewhat similar to T110E5's gun, I kind of understand why this tank uses AP and heat, because T110E5 uses exact same shell types. But regardless, AP shells probably don't have very high velocity on them, so when you're shooting at a long distance, you have to make sure you lead them properly. However, penetration is adequate at 258, and once you switch to heat round, you're getting 340 millimeters of penetration, which is absolutely great too. Now, this tank, the way it should be played, probably should be played as a support tank, not really a sniper, like I said, because of shell velocity is not the greatest. The accuracy is not the greatest on this tank. It's only 0.38 meters, so it's quite standard for your American tank. Gun depression is pretty great though at -9 degrees. Elevation not too shabby either at 20 degrees. So anyway, this tank should be probably played more as a support tank, supporting your heavies, not really a sniper, but getting into the fight behind your heavy tanks. And it does fantastic with that rate of fire. It's absolutely incredible. To add on top of all of this, this tank's view range is at 410 meters. Can you imagine 410 meters of view range with this tank? And mobility is pretty damn good. The top speed is 53 kilometers an hour, or slightly over 53 kilometers an hour. It has the same hull as a sharpshooter, or sharpshooter has the same hull as this tank, but sharpshooter, because of the weight of the turret, moves a little bit slower than this tank. So this tank actually moves pretty fast. It's nimble. It moves around pretty good. Maybe turning ability is not that great, but moving up and down the hill, getting into positions early, getting into late damage late in the game, man, you can rack up so much damage with this tank. So I haven't had a chance really to scorch anything. Didn't have 7k plus game in this tank. I know it's coming because, guys, I played maybe 30 games in this tank, and shit you not, I had at least 6 games over 5k. And I'm gonna show you a couple here, but that was my kind of takeaway from this tank. I was like, whoa, like seriously. I hope it doesn't get nerfed, because it looks like this tank is so good that eventually it will get nerfed. But so far I've been enjoying it so much, man. So, and that's why I'm saying, I think even though the Kampfpanzer is really good, because of the alpha and the rate of fire of this tank, I think I prefer this one, to be honest. Now, the turret armor is pretty good too. You're talking at 343 millimeters of turret armor, okay? But you do have that big ass weak spot, which is the tumor right on top of your head. That cupola is so big that anyone will be able to pen it. So that's one thing that you have to keep in mind. But if you keep moving this tank left and right so that it's hard for the opposition to hit that cupola, you might be able to avoid some shells here and there. But keep in mind, good players are still going to be able to pen it quite easily and quite often because of how big it is, right? What else to say about this thing? Aim time at 2.3 seconds. It's not spectacular, but it's not bad at all. As far as whole armor is concerned, there's not much you can do about that. 114 millimeters at the front. If you angle it, you might be getting a little bit more of an angle. This tank may be able to bounce here and there, lower tiers, but don't count on your whole armor to bounce anything, to be honest. So this tank should be played hold down with a lot of movement so that people cannot hit that big cupola on top of your turret. Anyway, I have a couple of games that I decided to show you today, so I hope you enjoyed them. Enough about the tank. Without further ado, let's jump into the replay and see what's transpired here so far. So as you can see, we're on map Pilsen. We're almost nearing the end of this game, so it's a closing time. We're just gonna, get rid of these customers here. But what this game exemplifies, you saw me shoot the gun at further distance a little bit earlier in the game, and then once I saw nothing happening there, I decided to join my heavy forces and push the flank. And that's what this tank is great at. It's great at pushing the flank with your friendlies, right? So that is really your role as far as this tank is concerned. And I also was going to show you a couple of games over 5k, but I decided to show you 2 class 1s instead. I have more high damage games that I will show you in my next video after this one. So there will be another T95E6 video following this one if you guys are interested. Anyway, we had a pretty decent game here. We finished with 4.6k damage. We fired 19 shots. We had 12 direct hits and 12 penetrations. Anyway, the next game is on map Halluf, which is one of my most favorite maps in the game. To be honest, guys, I love this map. It's been in rotation for such a long time. And it's just a treat to play. I like playing this map, especially in a medium tank. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get ourselves into position C2. That's my standard position on this map, because whoever pushes that corner, A1, B2 quadrant usually wins the game on this map, unless the opposition pushes much faster through the field, which is not that easy, to be honest. Now, pushing here is not easy either, but I find it easier here than going through an open field. That's for sure. So this game is going to exemplify what this rate of fire can do. And mobility as well. Like, take a look at this. This Centurion, my right hand side, he can't get up, and I'm already on top of the hill right here. See? And I'll be in position much earlier than anybody else is. So this is what this tank is good at. Getting into positions early. But it can get you in trouble too if you go too fast, too far. So be careful about that as well. Anyway, we're going to preset over here. We're going to catch any of these heavy tanks passing. So we catch this Wheezy. We put a shell into him and we track him at the same time. And he's gonna get scorched. He doesn't have a repair kit. Guys, always carry your repair kit, because that's what's gonna happen to you if you don't carry your repair kit. At least one of them. Anyway, that guy's dead. And no one else is gonna cross probably now, because he got pretty much scorched. So we're gonna look at this 113 poking out. Unfortunately, this shell goes into his upper plate instead of his lower plate. But we're gonna try to do the same thing here, see if he pokes out. And 113 has very long front haul, so before his turret comes out, usually his track wheel comes out first. Anyway, we tracked him, but he repairs. For whatever reason, he decides to push. We try to track him here again, but that doesn't come off, so we're just gonna go after him now because we have too many tanks here. We should be able to take him out of the game, or at least drain him down in health a little bit. Unfortunately, T57 hits me on the way down and it damages my fuel tank. I decided to repair the fuel tank, even though I have fire extinguisher. Probably wasn't necessary, but I'd like to keep it on the safe side. I have good crew on this tank, so my repair crew is pretty good in case I get tracked, so not a problem there. But we're gonna try to finish him off here. Unfortunately, my first shot, for whatever reason, missed from like, 4 or 5 meters away. I don't know what it was. It was about that. He gets taken out of the game. Now we're gonna focus our attention onto this grill. Let's see if we can put a shell into him. Unfortunately, no, we cannot. But we won this corner here, so now it should be easy peasy, to be honest. So there's no tank destroyers right here in front of me. Normally I wouldn't make this play here, going through the middle of the map like I'm doing it right now. But because there's no tank destroyers really focusing me and I'm not spotted, I'm allowed to make this play right through the middle of the map. Now I'm spotted because of this light tank, but no one's really shooting at me, so I'm gonna aim up my shot really well there, and it goes into his track. Unfortunately, we're gonna try to do the same thing again, see if we can catch him. But now I'm targeted, so something is focusing me, I'm not sure what it is. I think it was Emil too from the top over there. He puts a couple of shells into me, unfortunately. But at this point I was thinking the game is a wrap. There's no way the opposition can do anything here. The game was lost so fast, or won for us so fast, right around that corner. So that's what I'm saying, guys. You gotta pay attention to that corner at A1, B2, because that's the most important area if you want to win the game. Anyway, I'm gonna come across to a different location now, because I was thinking may as well flank this tank destroyer. There's no point going right in front of him under his gun. So that's exactly what I did here. And we're gonna try to just juice him. We're gonna try to drain him from his health. We're gonna put a tracking shot into him so he doesn't turn around and try to hit me. I know he doesn't have good gun depression, so by the time he turns around and tries to hit me, he wouldn't be able to. So quick game, closing stages just like that, because we won the corner so fast. But this tank is good at getting that final damage, getting to final damage, final kills, and racking up the damage. And that's what this game is showing you guys, because that's exactly what I'm doing here. I'm kind of frontline here. I still have half health left. I can take a hit from this drill, so I don't really care. I'm gonna try to push him here. I could have loaded my HE shells here actually, because they're like 500 HP, I believe, 500 alpha, but it didn't matter at this point in time anyway. I didn't think he could take me out. We ram him at the end of the day, and we're gonna get rid of this Emil too right now at the same time, and he's gonna have a hard time hitting us in the cupola from this distance. Now, my driver is dead here, and I was thinking, should I heal him? I was like, the game is over, there's no point healing him. But then I look at my damage numbers, like 4.9k. I'm like, okay, you know what? If I don't repair, I might not get to this arty to get a little bit more damage. So that's what I was thinking. That's why I healed my driver, and that way we can get to this end kill much quicker. So just like that, we're just gonna try to see if we have any shot over the building here. And yes, we do have a shot over the building, so there's no point for me going any closer. And yeah, that's exactly what we're gonna do. We're gonna aim up this shot again, and we're gonna take him out of the game. Just like that. So quick game, and what do you see up there? 5.5k damage, and that's what this tank does. The rate of fire. You just kind of get into the situation and you unleash the fury. You unload your gun, your 400 alpha every 6.5 seconds. It's just like so devastating. Anyway, so we finished with class 1 mastery, high caliber metal, of course, 5.4k damage, 1.1k assisted damage. That was the assisted damage on that Wheezy that we tracked that was trying to cross earlier in the game. We finished on top of the team with 1547 base XP. We fired 19 shells, we had 17 direct hits and 15 penetrations. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. More T95E6 coming up in the next video. That's it for now. Until next time, happy tanking, Space Bandit checking out.